Oh, good morning and welcome to Jaipur. It's a Sunday morning, about 8:30. We got in here last night from Jaipur. Didn't do much yesterday, it was just a travelling day really. Got here last night. Interesting little place we're staying. It's like some kind of old palace or Lonnie's house. It's like a real labyrinth. Quite interesting, quite pretty. Going to do a little walkthrough just now. But here we're on the rooftop terrace, so I'm just doing like a little bit of a panorama. And we once again find ourselves, probably because of the accommodation budget, in the old part of the city, which is always noisy and crowded with narrow little streets, and everybody, there's Mrs. Everybody living on top of each other. But yeah, it's certainly interesting, and it's like the real deal, hey? This is not kind of westernized India. This is Paka India. So yeah, that's just a little panorama of where we are right now. Okay, I promised you cheeky monkeys. Well, here's cheeky monkeys. We went through okay, got it. We went through a forested area between Udaipur and Jaipur, where there were a stack of these. On our way to, actually it was just on our way to Piplantry. But yeah, they're quite, these black-faced ones, the langurs, they're quite innocent. They don't really, okay, action. They don't really interfere with you. It's the bigger red-faced ones. I can't. What are the red-faced ones, Kimberly? Okay, my research assistant doesn't know either. But this is the reason why you eat in a cage. That's the dining area over there. So yeah, cheeky monkeys. And so I think that morning we went through to the Amber, what is known as the Amber Fort. Not as large as the one in Jaipur, but very interesting. Yeah, well, the first cool thing was that for the small sum of 1100 rupees each, you can ride an elephant up to the top of the fort, which we passed on. Yeah, and the fort itself is very interesting. Once again, it's a sort of blend of sort of palace areas and then sort of military fortifications, you know, security, that sort of thing.
I think they're busy doing some kind of construction. It's busy with the audio tour. He's busy on number 5. And I'm going to listen to number 5 and number 6 afterwards. There's the Diwali.
One of the things that I found interesting about the Amber Fort was the heating and cooling systems. Particularly the cooling, where they basically had a medieval version of the sort of misters that you'll find in restaurant gardens and so on. Yeah, they were doing that back then with copper pipe and water flowing over slitted marble ramps, cooling the air. And then they had an area which they called the Winter Palace, which basically just used reflection to heat the room. And there's just this room which is just chock full of mirrors and shiny surfaces, and they had light lamps and lanterns and like little burners, and then hang carpets over the sides because the walls are actually open, and it would heat the room up like that, which was very, very interesting.
Most of the scaffolding that we saw in India was made from bamboo, skillfully bound together with rustic twine. They also had a rather ingenious water lifting system, which consisted of a rotating drum attached to a number of earthen buckets, which were drawn up from the water tank to a catchment area and then circulated through the palace via a network of earthen pipes. After a few hours happily wandering through the amber fort, we were famished. So we stopped to get some yummy pokoro on the side of the street and had a picnic on the rooftop of Rola Mrignani Palace, where we were staying.
I'm just going to film us walking back down to our room, just so that you can sort of get an idea of how this place is put together,
A bit of the warren.
which is rather yes, serpentine would be an intelligent word. Damn confusing, actually. And yeah, also very narrow passages, I suppose. A security feature against invading hordes. Breakfast area, lunch, dinner, all of that stuff inside the cage. We had supper here last night, which was very lekker. Had meat for the first time in like 4 days. Thank you. So close here?
No.
Okay. And down here, so it's all like little courtyards and more rooftops and more courtyards. So yeah, I think if it wasn't for Kim, I might spend a hell of a lot of time walking around in circles here. Shit, step, chicky monkey. Nice little courtyardy thingies. Yeah, it gets very narrow here in places. I think definitely a sort of security thing. We saw this in the fort as well, so that you can't be attacked by a whole bunch of people at a time. It is a little bit fattest. Courtyard, narrow stairs. I mean, I can walk down these stairs without turning sideways, but there's probably just a few centimeters on either side of my shoulders. Nice courtyards. Okay, I'm not gonna. I'd pan around here, but there's some other guests standing in here. I don't want to film them. But that's a sort of idea. Oh, and these monkeys are going like seriously wasp. Okay, and carrying on. Okay, now we're going downer. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen to the light here. I hope this thing adjusts itself. Oh, it seems to be. Okay, so now we're downstairs in the cheap rooms. Not that it's that cheap, but anyway. Sort of little seating area. Nice little murals and so on, all very ornate. And coming down here. Morning. Step down, thank you. And step up. Oh, and yeah, once again, like you're just walking on a Brazilian rand's worth of marble. It's like everything here is just marble. That's like it's just regular building material. There's nothing fancy about it.
Yeah, that's our room.
And then the following day, we did something which I was feeling sort of lukewarm about, but turned out to be really cool. We went just outside of Jaipur, about 15-16 kilometers. There's a thing called the Monkey Temple, which is it's a sort of purification, a place of purification in Hindu religion. So people go there to bathe, and they have like a male pool, a female pool, and a monkey pool. So the monkeys also get to purify themselves, presumably. Definitely, by the sound of things, could end in tears, but it was actually quite cool. The monkeys were very well behaved. Naturally, when I think of Monkey Temple, I'm thinking of our sort of baboons that'll like mug you for your lunch. But frankly, these monkeys are so well fed they don't have to misbehave. And it was pretty cool, and they were climbing all over us. And then we went up to the top, to the temple itself. I didn't go into the temple because I wasn't in the mood for priests. But Kim went inside the temple itself. I just sat on top of the mountain. It was lekker. It was chill. It was one of the few times in India where it was actually silence. Yeah, and then we just went back down to town. Yeah, then we took a few snaps of the Palace of the Winds, which is really just a facade. So there's not much point in going inside it because it's all of about 3 meters wide. It's just a selection of rooms with windows looking out.
The next day we drove to Agra on our way to see the Taj Mahal.